What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. And they're linked there for you, as always, in the description to this video. Today, we're going to start out with some info about our OU tailgate that we're having tomorrow, and then we'll give you the forecast for that as well. It's actually looking pretty nice. And then getting into the nation's forecast for severe weather, we do have a few more pop-up areas for severe storms. Hail and wind are possible. Texas, you're in it, as well as the Northeast, Florida, the mountains. We got a lot to talk about in terms of risk areas. So getting into that for the next 48 hours, and then talking about the tropics here. We're going over Lee, which is slowly creeping off to the west, and then we got now Tropical Storm Margot behind it. So going over all that in a second, but first starting with our tailgate, we're going to be playing SMU, so it's OU versus SMU, and the tailgate is going to be at 112. So when you're walking along Jenkins Avenue, basically just go to the stadium, follow all the crowds. You'll find Jenkins Avenue and then a bunch of white tents, and we're in the mix there. Just look for the Hail, Trace, and Beacon tent, and our crew will be there with free food, free beer, and the game on for you, as well as a great vibe. So check us out tomorrow. Tailgate starts at 3, and then kickoff is at 5. So speaking of all that, here's your weather with this cute little graphic here. Starting out into 4 p.m., so a little bit before kickoff, if you're getting to the tailgate, should be 92 degrees, maybe a little bit of cloud cover, but humidity is pretty low, guys, and there should be some breeze, so that should feel pretty nice for a tailgate outside. Then 90 by 6 p.m., so right after kickoff, and then 8 p.m. should have dropped down to 86. So it's really nice overall. If you guys are planning on getting out to an OU game, this might be a pretty good one to go check out. I mean, weather, again, low humidity, temperatures in the 90s with a slight breeze. You'll be in a shaded tent, so should be a pretty good time to get out and about, watch some football, and I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty good game. So get out and see there. We're going to be, again, hanging out there at 5. Should be good to see you guys and chit-chat a little bit. Now into our weather, it's nice and clear across the central U.S. We do have a little bit of rain and some showers happening across Montana, and then a couple of areas of severe weather already happening through Louisiana with this band of storms that's tracking pretty quickly off to the south. Florida is doing Florida, got a ton of storms over the peninsula there, and those are going to continue through this afternoon and evening. And then even more up through the New England states with that trough bringing that cold front out across and towards the mid-Atlantic. And it should be starting to fire off some storms here in the coming hours. So a few areas of storms associated mostly with this trough that's tracking through for anything organized, and that kind of is what sparked all those storms through New England into yesterday. And it's keeping us nice and cool up through the Ohio Valley. And then again, bringing those storms out through Florida. And then this little wiggle in the jet stream is what's bringing those Montana storms into today. So kind of watching all of that, but overall sitting mostly in the 70s and 80s, except for Dallas, which is doing its own thing at 104 degrees. So enjoy that if you're in the heat island. Everybody else is sitting in pretty nice conditions for this afternoon. So here go those Montana storms into the coming hours. By around 5 Central, 4 Mountain Time, should see things starting to initiate around Billings and to the north. Could get a little severe hail out of that, as well as some high winds. That's all going to shift off to the east, become more of a wind risk overnight, and then, see that band of rain and storms tracking through the Dakotas into tomorrow morning. Then down south. All right, Florida is going to be just steaming along all day with these storms that are going to be moving over the peninsula. But then Texas is going to get a little bit of activity sparking up in the overnight hours, really, and it's going to be kind of along the Red River here. You can see that forming through Louisiana, kind of the Texarkana, Shreveport area. But you can see how scattered that is, all right? It's going to be very few and far between as it sinks down to the south, and it's going to form very late overnight, just before daybreak into tomorrow. So a very, very late storm system with the potential to bring some hail, maybe some gusty winds as well. Then for our most organized risk of the day, it's going to be New England. Around 5 p.m., Eastern time. Got some storms developing through West Virginia and Pennsylvania, as well as moving out of Canada and into the U.S. Should be pretty scattered initially, but then as the day moves forward, we'll see more storm coverage, more storm intensity as those track up to the northeast and eventually move off the Atlantic into the overnight through tomorrow morning. So got a few rounds of storms for you guys out in the New England states. So just going to go ahead and jump in to our Montana risk first. If you're anywhere from Butte out to Billings and a little bit further out to the east through North and South Dakota, could potentially get some $50 with those storms tracking through. And then it's really looking like a lot of quarters right now through the Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma corridor there. Low end chance of seeing severe hail. It's going to stay pretty spotty, but could see some quarters out that way. Same for you guys in Florida between Tampa and Melbourne, potential for you guys to see some severe hail. And then quarters to $50, maybe a ping pong ball or two with some of the stronger storms, but overall it's going to be mostly quarters to $50 through New England into today between DC and Portland. So wind is going to be primarily the same areas, tracking a little bit further west along the Red River there for our southern risk. But again, Butte to Billings into the Dakotas has that potential to see those storms. And then again, the Red River skirting it just outside the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. It looks like those storms are kind of going to fizzle along the Red River and then track out to the south and east. So probably looking like at this point it'll miss Dallas. We'll see what you get. But Shreveport and Lafayette, Louisiana, you guys are in it. And then Tampa, Melbourne, all the way up into Jacksonville could potentially see some high winds with the storms ongoing now into this evening. And last but not least, New England, and now you guys have the best chance to see that concentrated severe weather. So moderate risk for Portland all the way down into DC to get some high winds with those storms. Then tomorrow, just going to show you the nation here. We got some storms developing through the east here by around 5 p.m. Eastern. And again, going to be pretty scattered through the area. It's kind of sound like a broken record, but that's just, it is what it is. And then a few hours later, get a band of storms forming through the Central Plains here all the way down into the desert Southwest. Could get some storms out of that as well. And then Montana and Wyoming, of course, firing some stuff off of the mountains. And all of that should kind of roll through the afternoon and evening through the overnight. So, starting out now with Montana and then just working our way eastward. Again, Butte and Billings, it's you guys, all the way east into parts of Wyoming. I think it's just north of Casper there. Could potentially get those quarters. And then this whole area through the Central Plains down into Tucumcari, New Mexico could also potentially see some severe hail and some high winds into tomorrow for that band of storms tracking through around 8 p.m. And then lastly, State College up into Portland, Maine could potentially also see some severe weather and kind of repeat. Just basically that's what we're doing, just going to rinse and repeat each day. And New England could potentially see a lot of what we're seeing into today for tomorrow's forecast. So now shifting into the tropics, we got now Tropical Storm Margot getting itself together there. And you can see some loose circulation starting to happen, and it's trying to intensify a little bit in the center of that storm. Potential to see this turn into a hurricane in the mid-Atlantic. But we already got Lee that is steaming away. Look how slowly this is moving towards the Windward Islands. It really hasn't shifted much since yesterday. It did go Cat 5, so it was a Category 5 hurricane into yesterday, has since dropped back down to a Category 4. But look just how small the eye of that storm is. It's super concentrated as this thing spins away towards San Juan. It's going to take it a minute to get there, and we'll look at the track here in a second. But for Margot, just barely at tropical storm status, 40 miles an hour right there. And expected to kind of continue off into the mid-Atlantic, potentially reaching Category 1 hurricane status, 85 miles an hour once it tracks up into the middle of the basin. Not really many folks out there, fortunately, so just something to watch. Lee, however, is continuing really close to San Juan and the Bahamas, and that's kind of where our interests are right now. 155 mile an hour winds on this Cat 4 storm. Expected to continue west-northwest as a Category 4, and potentially seeing it drop down to 145 miles an hour, still steaming away. There is potential it'll lift just north before it hits the Bahamas, and then it'll kind of clear out of the way of the U.S. East Coast. But it really hasn't shifted that track much from the west-northwest for the past couple of days. So watching Lee as it continues off that way and into Tuesday, we'll let you guys know what's happening out along the East Coast. But again, it's just moving so slowly. We'll have to wait and see. So. And then, this is what it's dealing with. It, again, was a Cat 5 when it was working with those like nice warm temperatures, but it's, since shifting into maybe a little bit of cooler water out there. Any chances in Missouri? Not for today. You guys should stay pretty clear. It's mostly going to be in Texas for today, as well as in New England states and kind of the south. It's all over, but not really for Missouri for today for severe weather. So enjoy the sunshine. But back to Lee, I mean, it's not really working with cooler water. It might encounter some wind shear as it tracks that way, and again, the overall upper air pattern could steer it out of the way of the U.S., so that would be some good news for us. But again, watching that as it kind of just creeps towards population. So we'll keep you guys updated. And then into Monday, I'm going to be back with a pattern update, and I think I might have some good news for a lot of you guys. So come back on Monday at noon, and we'll be back here to give you guys your forecast. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video, and smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And then if you want to get in contact with us, as always, we are at that QR code up above me or the link in the description. That'll get you access to all of our products. And if you want more info, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And again, we'll see you tomorrow if you're at the OU tailgate, or back on Monday at noon with more weather info. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.